Soon, just weeks before I graduated from high school, I started my smoking habit, my cigarette smoking habit, and it happened in a time where when I lived at a house with a lot of people in it, like a family in it, and they were out at a vacation in another country for a short while, for a few weeks. So it was just me and my grandfather living in the house, and my grandfather who was also a smoker. I just casually started asking him about cigarettes, and I asked for one. He let me smoke one. It was a very casual thing. And then from there, at that point in my life, I was in a very good place mentally. I was going through some things, and um, I don't even remember what it was, but I was not good. Yeah, I think maybe it was loneliness. I was just mentally in a very bad place. I didn't have a lot of contact with friends, and I just wasn't thinking about things right. Even though I was already graduating, that's a pretty happy thing. Um, but when I did start smoking, it was a few weeks before graduation, and since then I was a daily smoker. From it started, I would just smoke like one to two a day, and then I'd smoke like five or four, which isn't that bad. I wasn't really a chain smoker or anything, but I was buying 2 packs of cigarettes every week, and I was smoking a lot. And eventually, people found out, and then it was like just like a very nice thing for me. Like I never had anything like that. And don't have a lot of experience with addiction, even though I know a lot about it. I used to study it because it was really interesting to me, and it just felt at that point I was in a pretty low point in my life. It felt like one of the lowest points in my life because it's what I was thinking, what I was feeling. It felt like a great relief to have, and it was the best part of my day because I just go out in the garage and it would feel nice, just the dopamine hit of it and what it does to your brain and everything. And I just stayed like that for a few months, for 2 months exactly. It's in the title, and it felt more like 2.5 months, I think it was, and it got to the point where people in the family found out, my parents found out, and they just accepted it because they realized that I'm at the age where I can do what I want for the most part, and they couldn't really make me stop, and neither could my friends. My friends would tell me, "Hey, stop doing that." Like I'd be, I want to keep doing it, like so I just kept doing it, and then I there was this one person in my life who I really cared for at the time who was really important to me, and then that person told me to stop and gave me all these reasons to stop, and they knew that I was eventually leaving the country, and they said the only thing I could do to make it up to them was to quit smoking. And it all happened in one night. It was a very heavy night. We had a heavy conversation. It was a long conversation, and they were asking me questions about certain things, and I couldn't answer them just because of how deep it was, and I realized how deep it smoking for me was as an addiction. Why I why in a low point in my life I sought to do that and decided that that's what I'd do to cure myself. And I thought about it, and I really did want to quit. But the next day I smoked a lot as well. But it was that week that I quit. I remember. So I had a day, like a few days after that experience, I had a day where I smoked all the remaining cigarettes I had left, which is four. And my tolerance wasn't that good. I was only 2 months of a smoker, right? So I had those four consecutively, and my head got so fucked up. I got so dizzy, and I just it felt like my body couldn't handle it. My head couldn't handle it. My head it felt like there was a stone in my head or something, and it didn't feel right. And the next morning, I didn't have a cigarette for 2 months. For 2 months, 3 months, for 1 month, I think. But I went, yeah, 30 days, 30 something days after that day. 30, 35, 32 days clean, no cigarettes, nothing. And it was for me, it was an easy addiction because I knew it would be easier because I was only 2 months of a smoker. It's not like I was a smoker for a number of years, like my parents or something like that. And like I was thinking why I justified that because I used to justify it because I grew up watching my parents smoke, and I grew up in a household where smoking wasn't this terrible thing, unlike other people where they learn from a kid that smoking's bad. I knew smoking was bad, but when you see people doing it, you just get interested in it. And you gotta admit, it looks kind of cool. There's like a whole aesthetic to smoking, like movie characters who smoke. I used to watch Skins. I used to love Effie, who smoked a lot throughout the entire show. Um, Thomas Shelby, like everyone, there's like it's almost glamorized in some shows or in some things that smoking is kind of cool just because everyone does it. And that was one of the reasons. That's why I literally felt cool. And I remember when I quit, I just started seeing people smoke, and I got jealous. Like, "Oh, I don't do that anymore." It just feels cool, right? I saw people doing that. I wanted to do it again. So after those 30 something days, I was completely off. And then when I had the chance to smoke again, I did privately. No one knew about it. I just stole a cigarette from one of my parents, and then I smoked. And immediately from the first puff, my head just started folding. That's what it felt like. Something happened in there. And it was the same feeling I had from the last time I smoked when I had four in a row and I got really dizzy. Just from the first puff, I got really fucking dizzy. And then I finished the cigarette because I didn't want to waste it. I finished the cigarette and I felt so not I just I felt my head felt heavy and I felt almost nauseous. It just very dizzy and everything. So I took a nap. It literally made me sleep. And so when I was smoking that cigarette that I had after a long break, I knew from then that I didn't want to do that again. I didn't want to get into smoking again because it was crazy to me that I used to do this every day, but now that I'm doing it again after not doing it for a while, it feels so wrong. It feels so wrong to be fucked up like just in the head and you're smoking like drugs. I don't know. The idea of it now seems absurd. And I know back then I used to smoke it and I used to enjoy it. Now when I did it again, it was just like didn't feel right. It was like I was chasing a high that I used to have when I was a daily smoker. Like there's a certain high. It's not even like a literal high like you get from like recreational drugs. It just felt a feeling of it just felt nice. Like it just the pleasure of smoking. I was trying to look for that. I had another cigarette after a while and I tried to look for that feeling. All I got was dizziness and headache. So I think what that was just my body healed from it. And now that I'm having it again, it's like, what the fuck, dude? I thought you stopped. So just had a bad reaction. And now I know that I make this excuse that, oh, I was smoking for 2 months and then I stopped. So that means I can control it. But no, I can't. If I get addicted to that again, I probably won't be able to control it. Like, my parents both have smoking addictions and I might get one of that too if I go back to it. But now that I've had this experience, I kind of know what it's like. I got the pleasure from it, so I know how good it feels to smoke, but I try to do it again and it just doesn't work. And so I was able to control it. Obviously, I wanted to smoke in those 30 days that I wasn't smoking, but I knew how bad it was. And just because of that experience I had with that person who told me to stop, just I kind of connected that memory to smoking. So maybe maybe this video is a really old video in my life, and I'll eventually become a smoker. But right now, it just seems like the worst thing I can do. And I don't know. I just wanted to talk. Just wanted to make this video to talk about this. I'm realizing that this YouTube channel is just the reason I made this YouTube channel was just to talk about things because I don't have people to talk to now. I don't really have friends here, so I can just talk to the camera about these things. And I never got to talk about this to someone. And I know it's like kind of insignificant, 2 months, but I learned a lot from that experience. I guess you could say. And I know that any time now I won't be smoking because I don't need to do that anymore. And I don't know. I think I just wanted to talk about it. Yeah. Yeah. I really just wanted to mention it for a bit. I know that the early YouTube videos you make don't really matter. Like any big YouTuber, their first few videos don't matter. So I'm just making videos just to make videos, honestly. Just to get the numbers up. Like, I don't really care about not getting any views. I think I'll care about getting views at like my 100th video or something like that. But now I'll just keep making videos because it's all I can do to speak and to get the thoughts out, aside from journaling. So I don't know. I don't know why you watched this video if you did, but thanks for the view, I guess. And yeah, don't smoke. It's bad.